Hi, and before we get to today's episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor. Tired of drinking out of a boring tumbler? Want to make your morning coffee cup one of a kind? Expand with Tipsy Tumblers. You can special order cups, shot glasses, bookmarks, rolling trays for your cigarettes. So you can get one with a picture of a special someone or one with Spider-Man. The options are endless. You can upload your own pictures or pick from her selection of design. You can use the code GAMES2023 at checkout to save 10%. You go to angelstipsytumblers.myshopify.com. There will also be a link in the show notes. Now on to our episode for today.
Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everybody, welcome to another TV episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's following Order 66 with me tonight?
Hey, this is Kerry Chandler without the inhibitor chip. Carusetta on Twitch.
Hey, this is Jody Bakawheel from Twitter, and new to your podcast.
All right, well, thank you and welcome.
Also new to your podcast, the man, the myth, the legend, Robbie Sherman himself from Conversation with Robbie Sherman. Thank you for having me on. A little bit self-aggrandizing with that, not trying to be too
Oh, you're fine. Well, I mean, I did something I'd never done before. I asked on Twitter, which I never do, and people responded. So,
hey, you struck gold. Good for you.
Well, actually, this is all Kerry's idea. Kerry, you should introduce what we're talking about, because this was actually this wouldn't have happened without you.
Yeah. I'm one half of Mike's resident Star Wars historians. So Peter, I guess, couldn't make it with us this time.
You didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
This one.
Oh, he didn't want to do it. Okay.
No.
Yeah, we're talking about The Bad Batch, Disney Plus animated series that I would argue is one of the best things Star Wars has done in the last 30 years.
Okay.
No hyperbole.
Oh my word.
I say
yes.
one of. I say one of the best.
And we're talking about season 1 that came out in 2020.
Oh yeah, just season 1. Season 2 just premiered. Well, as of recording, season 2 just premiered last week, I think, or this week.
No,
something like that.
No, I forgot because I've been doing so much.
I think it was January 16th. Which is 5 days ago by this recording.
Yes,
Wow.
and the 4th episode is out at the time of this recording. Recording is on the 21st of January 2023. This will be out, I think, in February. But
Yeah. I still haven't watched it. I rewatched the first season for this podcast, and then I decided to wait to watch the second season until after we talked about it.
yeah, that way it doesn't.
Yeah.
Same with me, because I watched this when it came out. I got to episode 11, I think, and then, or maybe 12. I definitely didn't see 13, and I just stopped. I don't know why. It ran out of episodes weren't coming out, and I just didn't care, and I just put it down, and then I forgot about it until January this year.
Yeah, this was when it came out. This was appointment viewing for me and my son, so we watched them as they came out. But then this is my first time rewatching it.
Yeah, this is my first. Sorry.
Okay.
This is my first rewatch too, and I was actually surprised at how good it played. I watched it when it first premiered, and it was very solid. But this rewatch didn't feel old.
No, I put off watching this one. I wasn't so sure what it was going to be like from the commercials or what they were saying about it, but I decided to watch it the last couple of weeks, and I regret that I put it off. Honestly, it's just awesome.
I do too. I mean, so I'm a big fan of Clone Wars. I'm a big fan of Rebels. And for some reason, when this came out, I think it's because when I watched Rebels and Clone Wars, they had already been finished, so I just binged them as they were out. I mean, everything was out for years at the point that I finally found it, except for season 7 of Clone Wars. But everything else, I just watched it on my own time. So not having to wait a week just didn't work for me with this show.
Yeah.
This is the kind of show I had to watch all at once.
I got you.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Binging it, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think I just kind of was either worn out too in 2021 and just wasn't in the right mood for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is my favorite anything, right? It's my favorite everything. But I haven't watched Rebels yet, and I watched Clone Wars, but I watched it like intermittently, so I missed episodes here and there, and I haven't seen the newest season. So I tend to be kind of have a mental block about watching cartoons, even though I like I do like them when I watch them, and I like anime and stuff. I just motivating myself to sit down to watch a cartoon. I usually have a hard time doing it unless I'm watching it with my kid, which is dumb.
I'm happy to hear you're not anti-anime. That's
No.
good. That's a point.
No, I enjoy.
Good for you.
I like a lot of anime, but I don't just like. Anytime I'm like, man, I really need to finish Attack on Titan, and then it's just like pulling teeth to get me to motivate myself to actually sit down and watch an episode, even though I love it.
I can't.
You know,
it's too.
It's that kind of thing.
It's too violent for me. I can't do Attack on Titan.
I haven't even
I'm not for
tried.
violence.
I just don't care.
I got halfway through, and I haven't been able to go back.
I watched, I think season 1 is what was out at the time. If just without spoilers, a character became giant, let's just say.
Yeah,
And found out there's
season
another
one.
giant character that was a female. And then I just I was like, I think either I ran out of stuff to watch or whatever, but I was done. That's all I know is I was
See, when people
done.
just talk about that show like that, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm glad I didn't watch that. That sounds lame.
It's a very good show, but my point is, I'm just like, I don't know, I just got this mental block where I'm like, I also don't watch a whole lot of TV because I play a lot of video games, and then when I do watch TV, it's like late at night, and something about like animation just makes me fall asleep. So I don't know, for just like multiple reasons, I'm just like have a hard time getting myself. So I just haven't sat down and watched Rebels yet. You know.
Well, I'll give you a reason to change that, because now that we did Bad Batch, it got me want to watch Rebels again. So.
All right. Well, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me time this time, because I mainlined my rewatch of this in 3 days. I was like down to the wire. I just finished the 16th episode about 5 minutes before we started recording. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just finished an hour ago.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. But I gotta watch Rebels too. I haven't done
No
it.
shame about Rebels, because I haven't gotten through it either. But I got through a good deal of Clone Wars, but I haven't gotten through Rebels. And
Rebels just has kind of a play school aesthetic that I
At
find
first.
a turnoff. I mean, I just the art style.
Season
So that-
1 is rough, but season 2, 3, 4 is great.
okay,
That's what I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
good.
It's just same with Clone Wars. Clone Wars season 1 is rough.
Hey,
Season 2 is
that's
rough.
the same thing as the Orville. Yeah.
I'm loving Orville. But what I do want
yeah.
to talk about
I love the Orville.
with Bad Batch is one thing that's interesting is it takes place right after the Clone Wars and immediately after Order 66 is said,
Oh,
and you're introduced to
yeah.
these characters.
I love it. You see Order 66 happen in the first episode.
Yeah,
It's
Actually,
I
great.
think that's great.
I just think the
Hey.
intro alone was awesome because it sounded like a Clone Wars episode when they started.
Oh yeah, it was. That's what it was. Kind of like a bait and switch almost. Like they're like, oh yeah, this is just gonna be like Clone Wars, and then
Yep.
it's like a lot darker and more adult actually.
Oh,
even though
yes.
it's got
Yeah.
some kiddies, it still has some kiddie stuff in it for sure. Like they only stun people. They only stun. They never
Yeah.
have their blaster set to kill. It's always set to stun.
Man, if you
And of
fought
course,
in war,
we've got, yeah.
you're killing people.
And of course, we've got Omega.
A mega.
They go half back and forth. I find
They
that
do.
hilarious.
Well, everyone
Even the
calls
same
her
characters.
Omega. Everyone pronounces it Omega except for her. She's
Yeah.
Omega. And it's funny. I looked up the voice actress, and she's from New Zealand, but she's of Malaysian descent. So if you see her speaking, it's like really kind of cool because you see this Malaysian woman, but then speaking with this like Kiwi accent. But
That's
she's
cool.
done some live action and some voice acting stuff. I like looked her up, but
Might
Okay.
point something out about the voice acting real quick.
Sure, of course.
Whoever was doing the voice of that Padawan sounded like a full-grown man. Okay,
Because he
Oh,
was a
God.
full-grown man.
okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm
It's
just
the
telling
same
you, like,
voice
it was
in
too
Rebels
much.
where he plays an adult, but because that is the guy
that is who it's supposed to be. That's what I
yes,
thought.
the main
That guy's
one
in
of the
Rebels.
main characters in Rebels is
Yeah,
that's who that is. He's the
There's
so
I would say, yeah, there's 3 Rebels characters in this show, right?
yes,
Yeah,
one's a
and-
robot.
Right. There's a Chopper, Hera, and the Padawan. I don't remember
I
the Padawan's
don't
name.
like Kanan because I had the same problem. I was going to bring that up in the first episode. I do not like the voice. Just was. I mean, it was just too much. Like I get it. They wanted to use the same actor, but just grab someone else. Just grab a kid. I don't care. Nobody like. It really bothered me to have that voice with a kid character. I was like, could not handle it.
It explains
Yeah, I
it
mean
for me
that's
where I
some
haven't
real
seen
Robin
Rebels.
Williams territory there.
So, is that a Jack reference?
Yes.
That's something I hear every day. But it didn't work for me. I mean, he's only in there for a little bit, and I mean, again, the whole point of having him there is just to show you, like in Rebels, he hates clones. Which I mean, I didn't need to see why he hates clones. I know what happened. I completely understand. But
Yeah.
that was the point of it, is to show you why he hates clones.
That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't realize that he was I didn't realize that it was the guy from Rebels, but that makes sense.
He's the older guy in the promo stuff that you would have seen. He goes by a different name.
No, I've seen the first 5 episodes of Rebels. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
Rebels, it picks up when you get farther after the Inquisitor stuff picks up. But that's a whole different story. But with this, Bad Batch is actually introduced in the Clone Wars season 7, the last one that came straight to Netflix at the time.
Oh, okay.
They were I think it was Netflix, or was it Disney Plus?
Disney Plus.
Okay, no, I'm thinking of season 6.
The newest season of
Clone Wars
was on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Okay, because there was another season that went straight to Netflix, was called the Lost season, because the Bad Batch was actually from an arc that didn't happen, and then when they made one last season, then they put the Bad Batch in, and then essentially they're in like a 3-part episode, which becomes like their pilot to this.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to watch it, but I mean, it's good. It's not bad. I'm just like, but it doesn't. This show is self-contained. I mean, I want to.
Yeah, I think I've seen just the first 5 seasons of Clone Wars, so I don't remember that. But.
It's in the.
I was actually halfway through this though before I even caught on that was the same group.
Yeah.
Well, it's also. I mean, this group goes through a lot. I mean, but I think the show does a really good job. Like I was watching reviews before this, kind of get an idea what people think. And one of the complaints people had, there's too many Easter eggs, or there's too much we got to see, this character. I'm like, that's fine because I'm okay with them showing the world and showing different things that were happening. Like, I don't mind that Hera, and I mind Kanan, but just because of the voice. Other than that, that's fine. That doesn't, you're doing things to connect it, and I'm okay with that because
the thing is, this is very much a children's show. This is not like. It's a cartoon, but it's for grown-ups. This is a children's show. It's a fun children's show. It's a really well-made one, but it's going to have some children's show silliness to it a little bit, and that's fine. Like it's got some lightness like that, like having having Hera as a kid and having Chopper and all that, and having Chopper be comic relief and all that. That's he's
actually
fun.
Chopper has the highest death total in Star Wars, by the way. So
yeah. I've heard that.
I'm not kidding either. He has the most kills out of any character in Star Wars.
More than Grand Moff Tarkin?
I think so.
He's killed billions of people?
Well, maybe not, but he's close to it. He's got, I forget what it is, but he kills a lot of fucking people, Chopper does.
All right.
I don't remember the whole. I just know I've seen that on the.
I'm gonna say there were 20 billion people on Alderaan, so.
Good point. Never mind. You beat me there.
I think Tarkin's got it. By the way, did you notice Tarkin's line in this? He does the, you may fire when ready. Yes. Yeah. I loved it. I was like in the movie. Yeah, no, I love it. No, it's good.
I'm okay.
I like the references. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the episode nothing in the show really bothered me at first. Like when I watched the show when it first came out in 2021, God, I can't believe this is over a year ago now. I didn't like, and I still don't really like how you have this team of 5, and then you have one of them ends up going bad because of Crosshair, because of the chip, and ends up joining the.
But it's not.
Well, you think it's because of the chip.
Yeah, but I love that. When it was happening, I was like, man, it should turn out that he had his chip removed and is still this way. It should, then it did. And I was like, yeah, exactly. That's good storytelling. I love it. I loved having Chopper on the other side of things, and he feels like they betrayed him because he felt sort of. He betrayed them. He chose orders over his team, but the way he looks at it, they betrayed he felt like what we stand for is we do what we're told. And what they felt like is what we stand for is for each other. We take care of each other.
The vocal performance, so impressive.
All one guy, yeah. It's Dee Bradley Baker, who's the voice of the clones in Clone Wars. And then he's the voice of the whole Bad Batch in this, too.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
He does all
he
of
does
them.
a good job because they actually, they sound different. Tech, Wrecker, Crosser, they all have different accents and voices to them.
Yeah, his credits when you're watching it says Dee Bradley Baker, the Bad Batch.
Damn. Okay, I give that guy props.
So.
Yeah,
that is impressive because they're very different.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good,
and it does a good job of introducing you to these characters and just seeing the Republic go to the Empire. I mean, that was something that we've seen it, but not like this. And I really like that. I really love I think it's the second episode where they see the chain code start. That.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
thankfully, nothing like that could ever happen in real life ever.
This period of Star Wars has been for a long time my favorite thing for them to explore. In the books and movies and TV is this period before the rebellion. like when the Empire is taking over, like Andor. You know, we were talking. I mean, I think Andor is probably the best thing in Star Wars outside of the original trilogy, and like that's the same time period of. I mean, it's pretty much this. Would you? I guess it's
Andor's
the same
later, I think.
It's a little later. It's more like in the time period of like Rebels, but it's before. Yeah. It's before Rogue One. It's before the original trilogy. But yeah, I guess it is a little after this. But this time period of the Empire's taking over, and so we're just seeing the fascism happen, and it feels really realistic. A lot of it feels really like in Andor it felt realistic, and in this and Rogue One, like it feels like
there was a small scene with the chain code where he's like, the Empire is gracious. We'll let you turn your credit into your Republic credits into Empire credits. And I'm thinking to myself, if you guys were generous, you'd be giving them more value than what they had. But it doesn't sound like you are.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still better than you have to. You can hope for a lot of the time with like with a government changing over like that. You think about it.
Yeah,
a lot of money's just worth nothing, or like given half credit or something. They could have done much worse.
They weren't bison dollars, so
yeah.
But I just thought that was I really liked that. I really liked how much, and that you see Tarkin disdain for clones, which I think is really good too. Just because it helped kind of goes along with the fact that how much Tarkin becomes in charge of everything, and he doesn't there are no clones in in Star Wars at the time when Tarkin's around.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're having to kind of do the heavy lifting for the potential plot holes that the prequels introduce,
So is that a recon? I was trying to figure that out, because weren't the first batch of stormtroopers in some media, or is that Legends media now where they were
That's
clones?
Legends.
That's Legends. Okay.
It's in some of the books said that, but no, that was never it's not canon.
Never been in canon.
Or it may have been in canon at one point, but it's not. Yeah, but it was not canon set by. It wasn't canon set by Lucas. Is what I mean. It was.
How do we all feel about that Legends stuff? Because frankly, I wish they would quit being so nitpicky about it. I wish they'd just start giving us some of the best of that.
Well, they have a little bit, right? So we got from Legends, we got Jango Fett's backstory as it existed in the comics, right, into Clone Wars, and then into we got a little bit of that into Clone Wars and all that. So we get a little bit of it. What I was actually going to say is my very favorite series of Star Wars books is the Republic Commando series by Karen Travis, and it feels like the creators of this show read those books, because the
guy that was involved with Republic Commando was involved in this show too.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yeah, that's surprising that the Commandos were back so much, because I like them. I really like the Commando stuff. Yeah.
I'm just jumping ahead, but one of the episodes when they go to the prison to break out that clone trooper that was being forced to train the new stormtroopers in War Mantle.
Right.
Supposedly, the guy that you see, because you see the Republic Commando's armor, you see the color, is supposed to be Scorch. It's not 100% confirmed.
Supposed to be Scorch from Republic Commando?
From Delta Squad.
Yeah. It's supposed to be one of Delta Squad is training the new stormtrooper. Yeah.
I thought it was because it's got the same look to him, but it never spoke or did anything.
But
they're saying, because the guy who made worked on Republic Commando worked on that episode too.
So you're talking about they worked on the video game. Yeah. I was like, so did any of y'all read the books?
I read the first.
I have never gotten around to those. I did this out.
They're really. I mean, they're my I've counted so far 38 Star Wars books, and those 4 are my favorite. And there is a 5th one that's called Imperial Commando, but then she quit writing Star Wars books because she got screwed over by George Lucas, and so she decided to stop writing. Yeah, it was a whole thing. She was like in the final draft stage of a Boba Fett book that she'd been working on for years. It's like Boba Fett, like true story, like basically setting a canon backstory for Boba Fett that fits into the Clone Wars and all that. It was real. And she was in the final draft of it, and George Lucas decided to cancel it because he wanted to make that Showtime, Star Wars Showtime show that never got made. It was about teenage Boba Fett. And so he had her book, and so she's like, I'm done. I'm not doing Star Wars books anymore. And so she doesn't do them anymore. But it's fine. She's a good author. I really like her. But
she's an asshole move. Like, you contract it out. You pay somebody to do it.
I doubt that he even knew. Like, I'm sure it was more like cancel anything Boba Fett related because we got this show coming up, and then the show got canceled. This is before he sold to Disney. I doubt that he personally did, but it's still one of those things. Is like she's like, nope, I'm done. I'm done with Star Wars because it's too like it's this big thing that she doesn't have control over. But those books are really good, and they get into like they really set up a lot of now not canon backstory for that is but has been borrowed. A lot of what she wrote was used in Clone Wars and other stuff to set up in The Mandalorian to set up the backstory and religion and stuff of the Mandalorians and setting up like Boba Fett's backstory and
that's cool.
And then with the clones, and it's like these clones that really does remind you of Delta Squad, which if you played the game, you know that's part of it. But the books really explored a lot. You know, they expanded a lot and. But yeah, I don't know. I think that might be part of what I love about the show so much is because it reminds me of my favorite Star Wars books.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the show is the most level of all the cartoons I've seen so far. It just really can deliver its drama in a way I didn't feel during Clone Wars. I guess during the best of Clone Wars of what I saw, it would come close to this, but I still feel like this is a little bit more of an achievement on that level.
Well,
yeah, I mean, totally
Clone Wars, you also have the time jump constantly where nothing makes sense.
Yeah, never in order.
Yeah, there's a lot of that junk going on. Yeah, that
Clone Wars. I think Clone Wars is heavily saddled by Anakin. Also, like know that, like he's like the way he acts in Clone Wars just makes the way he behaves in the movies less believable. If that makes any sense, I don't know.
I think too with this one, there was more realism in some of the writing than you expect from a children's show. Yeah. There was a couple of things that I was just thought, but this is definitely going to happen because this is how all TV shows do, and it went another way. And that's impressive to do with a show when they're doing it nowadays because so few shows go that way. They just, everything's expected, right?
That final episode has so much, like, when Omega's sitting there next to, they think they're going to die, they're down in that, like, lab, and Omega's sitting next to Crosshair, and she goes, you know, I was really, really hoping that it was the inhibitor chip, but I guess I was wrong. And she walks off, and it's like, damn, like the way she delivers that line is like there's so much. It's a really well done show. It's like it is. Yeah, and that last episode is like that last episode you almost feel like you're watching the last half. They're watching like the last act of like a really good movie.
I actually had this feeling the whole way through that like Omega was going to turn out to be Force sensitive, that they were going to go that route with it.
Oh yeah,
because they kept trying to make her so special, but they didn't, and I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, there's outside of the first episode, we don't see the Force or a Jedi or anything like that for the whole show, and I love it.
Yeah,
but we also haven't really seen her full purpose for the Kaminoans. I was kind of curious to see what they were trying to create from her DNA.
Yeah, I wonder if we might get that in the next season. Is find a little bit more of what was going on with her because they reveal that she's older than the other clones.
Yeah.
She's older than the Bad Batch. I don't know if she's supposed to be older than all the clones or is just older than them, but that she was like so she's like their older sister, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I like that. Like the whole purpose of her is the fact that, you know, she has uncorrupted DNA of Jango Fett, and she's the last source of it. And that's the whole thing with her. That's her kind of.
Oh, right. They said it was like her and Boba Fett are like the two uncorrupted.
And they have no clue where he is at this point.
Right.
I don't think we don't either because they don't ever say. I don't think we've gotten that.
Not in between.
No,
I mean, Clone Wars has some, but not at this point.
We've seen him a little bit in Clone Wars, but yeah.
I look forward to that. Oh, but one episode I want to bring up is I think it is episode. Trying to find out here really quick. It's not working as quick as I would. Well, it doesn't matter. The episode where they go and they fight the slavers.
Episode 5.
I thought that one is one thing about it that you were bringing up is you brought up how this show made things canon that weren't canon before. For example, one of the alien they think is supposed to be Muchi that they go to rescue.
Yeah,
her race is the same race as Prince Zizor from Shadows of the Empire.
Oh,
YouTube told me that. But that's never been canon before. As far as I'm aware, that race has never been canon besides Shadows of the Empire.
Well, I mean, it was canon until Disney.
Well, sorry, I mean not since then.
So they're bringing it into canon from.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I've heard rumors of a Shadow of the Empire remake, so maybe they're working into that.
Oh, that would be great.
I would love to. I would love to get a movie of that or something of Shadow of the Empire to fit in between, because it's just so good.
It is.
Yeah.
You can hear me talk about that on a comic episode and a game episode on earlier shows.
Yeah, the book was really good too. It filled in a lot of stuff that wasn't in the game. Yeah.
And
Are
the
we going
comic
to
fills in the
talk?
stuff that wasn't in the book.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Are we going
weird.
to talk about the Ordo Moon Dragon at all?
What was? Don't.
I
doesn't
don't
click.
It was episode 3 where they landed on the moon of this planet, and they had to deal with this dragon who
right.
stolen apart
Oh, yeah.
from them. I like these monster of the week segues they go into sometimes in this season. It's a good way to break up the monotony of what could be a heavily political thing. You deal with creatures, and
It does. It does, and it's also the difference between the cartoon series and the live action. If this was a live action series, it would have been 8 episodes, and they would have cut out the moon dragon and Moochie and all that. I was thinking that when I was watching it, because rewatching it and trying to finish it, and I was like, man, I don't know. This episode seems kind of it's fun, but I could probably skip this one, couldn't I? I didn't, but I could.
Is this the first time we've seen almost a full Dianoga in episode 7? The squid? Because I know
yeah.
because we never seen the full ones except in Shadow of the Empire before.
Yeah, and they specifically say that it's a Dianoga too.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, and another small little Easter egg too that I was told to, when they go to that one planet, the garbage planet, when they're trying to find the ruins of the old ships in order to get the chips out.
Yeah.
That's the same planet where Cal is hiding at in Force. What the hell? Jedi
Fallen Order?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the planet he's on. So it's the
cool.
same. I mean, and that's supposed to be around the same time he's there too.
Oh yeah. Well, he's 12 when Order 66 happens.
Oh yeah, good point. So it would have been later. Okay.
Yeah. So it would have been a little later. Yeah.
But it was cool. It was cool how they did. I mean, it's not something that I caught because I played Fallen Order, but it went right over my head. It was
that's the tutorial level too. It's the first 30 minutes of the game. So yeah, that's really cool.
But I like seeing the Empire, just watching the Empire, becoming the Empire and everything they're doing.
Yeah.
It's really good to see. And it's good to see, you have things where you have criminals still involved. Like the one planet that they're on, was it Ord Mortana they're on most of the time?
Ord Mantell. Which is from Legends, right? I mean, Ord Mantell, that's where you fight IG-88 in Stars of the Empire.
Oh, so it's a garbage planet too. Okay.
Yeah, it's not just from Legends. So they say in Empire Strikes Back, they refer to running into that bounty hunter on Ord Mantell, when Han Solo's explaining why he has to leave.
That's cool.
Before Lucas, he's like, since we ran into that bounty hunter on Ord Mantell, I've been, need to get back to pay Jabba or whatever. He's planning to go pay Jabba. And so that's where we get that name from, is we know that it's a place where a bounty hunter attacked them. And then, in Shadows of the Empire is where you fight IG-88.
Okay. I like it. I like that whole thing of them, because, really what happens very quickly is they realize, okay, we relied on the Republic to pay us and give us supplies. Now we have to, work for ourselves, and kind of seeing that idea where they don't know what to do. And, it also makes more sense.
They got to go to work for Rhea Perlman.
But that's who plays Sid?
Yeah, it's Rhea Perlman. I love it.
Okay, good. I thought it was like an impersonator. I didn't get around to looking it up.
It's Rhea Perlman, which means maybe we'll get Danny DeVito in season 2.
We can only dream.
We can only dream. Oh man, him, Danny DeVito voicing a Star Wars alien. I never knew how much I wanted that. I knew that. I can imagine him.
That alien will be so snarky.
Oh, make him like a Troydarian or something. Oh man.
Oh, that would be perfect.
There you go.
So there were a lot of also to go back to that Slavers episode, apparently that Rancor that they go to save is the same Rancor that Luke decides to kill later on in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, they say in the show, they say that they're giving it to Bib Fortuna.
Yeah.
Which is Jabba's major domo. So
I just think it's just funny that apparently now that's canon, that's the same Rancor that he kills.
In a way,
much more evil over time.
In a way, it's kind of sweet to see Jabba give a present.
Yeah. Oh, and of course we didn't mention, but we get Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shand.
I thought of you, Kerry.
Yeah, because I'm a big Ming-Na Wen fan, and
I do know
she's she's one of the few things in Book of Boba Fett I wouldn't get rid of. So
yeah,
one of the very few.
Her whole scene with Hunter is so tense and wonderfully animated.
Yeah.
The highlight of the whole season for me.
It is. It's really well done. I really like her whole. She's in 2 episodes, I guess.
Yes,
one with Cad Bane.
specifically referring to the one with the cars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's a good
Hunter.
episode.
it's a good one. And so
I mean,
now
it
was she introduced in Mandalorian, or was she in Clone Wars also? And I missed
She's
her.
in Mandalorian first, and then they put her in this.
Okay, so it's
Did
just,
this come before Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So this is
Pretty sure.
where they really show the Pike Syndicate for the first time then in a long time. Because we never saw Pike
Yes,
Syndicate.
Pike Syndicate
Oh, yeah, okay.
is in Clone Wars first.
They are?
Yeah, they're in Clone
remember
Wars
them in
somewhere.
Legends. I didn't remember them in
It-
Clone Wars.
They might not show up till actually one of the final arcs because in the last season, the Pikes are involved with Ahsoka. There's some things that happen after Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order before the
Okay.
Jedi Order all gets assassinated, and the Pikes are involved in that, or she gets involved with them by accident.
oh,
Been a while
So
since I watched
they
that,
were
so I didn't
around.
remember. Okay.
I think Darth Maul is also in charge of the Pike at this time, or not? Maybe not yet, but he takes over the Pike soon.
Yeah.
Until he
Because
gets
that's in the
murdered.
big thing in Rebels too, right? That he's
Yep, Darth Maul ends up taking over he takes over. You find out in Rebels, spoiler a little bit, that he's in charge of. He takes over all the crime syndicates. Like those are seen Solo. There's a small scene that I want more of in Solo where you see he's in charge.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I remember seeing that.
His story's wrapped up in Rebels, though. I will say that his story they do a great job with him, and they put a nice little bow on it, and they put away that character. So in Rebels, they take care of it.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
Yeah, that's definitely the next thing I'm watching after you talking about it. I got to see Rebels.
So it's-
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds solid.
I'm hoping
Just-
that I'm hoping he shows up in the Fallen Order sequel.
Well, that would be awesome.
he
That
Uh,
would be
could
awesome.
in time
He could.
wise.
Timeline would line up because Fallen Order is taking place in around the same time as Rebels. So
Yeah, he disappears sometime. Because Rebels is starts off 4 years before
yeah,
Battle Yavin or 5
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah.
Because Rebels puts away all the characters they play with. They put almost everybody away, so it makes sense why they're not around when the trilogy happens.
yeah,
Just about. So they have.
that makes sense. Well, yeah, the Pike Syndicate are the ones who take over Sid's operation, right?
Yes.
They
Well,
don't
no,
take it
but
over.
he-
Some idiot
well-
takes it over.
Yeah, and he's working for them.
Well,
getting
right,
Pike.
right. They're the ones who come and like you don't know it, and they're like you don't know what you're messing with here, and yeah,
They're like the Colombian cartel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
Yeah,
the way to
yeah,
put it.
I-
Like,
I
would have been
mean,
like the Medellin
yeah.
cartel. They're the ones that supply the drug, and then he's the big seller on the planet.
Right. I mean to say, yeah, that guy was trying to work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
We
he's trying to
kinda-
sell.
I also like that we got Cad Bane in here. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Cad Bane. He's
Anytime
such
you
a
get a
like,
little more Cad Bane.
such a ridiculous mustache twirling character. With Corey Burton does that just like such an accent that he has. He makes a choice of Cad Bane, but I love it. I love Cad Bane. Everything.
This is
he
my
showed-
favorite one.
Yeah. This is my favorite Cad Bane. I think.
And I like seeing him go up against Fennec Shand in this. And this is also the first appearance of Cad Bane since season 4 of Rebels. At the time of it.
Okay.
I think
Rebels,
it's better
sorry.
than
Season
four, Clone
Mandalorian.
Wars.
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
I would say he's in
I-
Clone Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't show up
Okay.
since season 4 or 5 of I think it was 4 Clone Wars, so we hadn't seen him for a long time at this point, because this is before Book of Boba Fett comes out.
Yeah, I remember when season 1 of Mandalorian, when Fennec Shand is dying in the desert on Tatooine, and we hear the jingling spurs walk up to her, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's obviously Boba Fett," and I was like, "No, it's got to be Cad Bane. Like Cad Bane wears the spurs." But yeah, it was Boba Fett. But still, it would have been cool if it was Cad Bane. It would have been cool if it was Cad Bane. But again, he does show up in Book of Boba Fett.
I
And then-
actually got confused that his droid was still here because I remembered that not happening in Clone Wars, and I had to go back and find out that it got rebuilt by Anakin. I'm like, what?
Okay. I don't
Clone
even
Wars is
remember
weird, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was completely shown off
that.
with
Sure. I love his droid. He reminds me of the robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
that. Just
Yeah,
hates
good-
myself.
Never
Good call.
seen that yet.
Oh, it's somewhat the book. I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, the
I
book's
saw-
better.
Oh, I never read
Yeah,
so much.
yeah, the book. Oh god.
I've not seen the movie, but I'm talking about the book.
Well,
Freddy, I
I-
think.
I like both the movie and the BBC adaptation.
Oh, I think I've seen one of the BBC or the BBC one. I think I have a vague memory of like a cable access level one, but I might have been thinking of something else.
I
Oh,
thought
book,
the movie
oh.
first, but then got into the books, and they're like some of my favorite comedy books ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
Oh, and the voice
But yeah,
of the the Padawan that we complained about earlier, Kanan, that's Freddie Prinze Jr., who apparently can't do a kid voice.
That's Freddie Prinze Jr., really?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Wow.
His voice
He can do a
has not
fine
kept
voice
up
as an
with his
adult.
boyish good look.
Mr. Buffy the Vampire Slayer himself.
Yep.
So, another thing that and Seth Green did the voice of the droid by
Yes.
Bane. I did not know that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's good.
I love it.
Wow, man,
He
there's
always
a
does
guy
voices.
who's never had a voice acting gig in his life, huh?
I know he's had a lot, but he does a good job.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him, so I'm impressed. Oh, quick thing I do want to mention is in the first episode, a scene that really stuck with me that I really, really like is when you have all the clones get together, they have the TV on, and they end up seeing, Palpatine saying, "Oh, we are the Empire now," and where he goes on that whole stick, and it's also Ian McDiarmid they got back to do that, and I really, really like that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
They got a lot of people to return to their voices.
We kind of skipped over the two-parter.
Yeah.
Were you not a big fan of the first part of that?
No, I liked it.
You're talking about the final, the finale, the two-parter
the beginning.
No, I'm talking
the
about
beginning.
Devil's Deal into Rescue on Ryloth.
Oh,
that two-part.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was not my favorite part of this show for sure, because I don't watch Rebels, so I didn't really care about Hera, and it felt like they expected you to already care about Hera, and so didn't do much
Clone
to
Wars.
make me care for her.
Because the other character was in Clone Wars, her father, and one of the lines was straight from Clone Wars, where he even says to the Jedi, or I think it's the Mace Windu actually, where he's like, we're not helping you so you can become the oppressor.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to fight you when this is over with. And
There's not Chim Syndulla, yeah.
Him and his uncle too was in it. Her uncle.
no, it's cool to see. I mean, yes, they do expect you to have that fan for Hera and Chopper in that episode, since it's such a big Hera episode.
Yeah.
And
it's
she's a
fine.
pilot in Rebels.
Yeah, and she wants to be a pilot in this. She dreams of being a pilot. Yeah, and
I
actually
did find it was like a side story though. Like it was almost threw me off in the middle because it did go a little.
See, that's my main issue. It feels like a side story, and that it's kind of getting in the way of our narrative. And when we bring the Bad Batch in, it's more just kind of like a coincidental thing. It's not like a big, really interesting plot thing happening with them.
I think it would have been better as a single episode. As a single episode,
Yeah.
it would have been.
Yeah,
it would have been on a similar level to the one with the Rancor.
Yeah, it could have been just a one and done, like a little side story for the week. But by doing a two-parter of it, it did throw off a little bit. It just threw the pacing off a little bit, I think.
I think maybe if I watched Bad Batch, then I would have been more into it. But yeah, it was just that one. I was kind of yeah. I mean, this is fine. It's whatever. But it felt like wasted space a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, I liked it a lot, but I'm also a big fan of Rebels, so I think that also kind of holds into it was meant for you to be caught up with the other cartoons, and if you aren't, it doesn't hold as much.
I didn't think it was terrible, but I also felt like it was a little dry.
And they're not the main characters in that; they're the side characters.
Yes.
And I think that's another thing that's so weird about it is you have that assassination attempt where you have Crosshair, shooting the senator, which I guess that's in one of the books or something too.
I didn't think I was surprised when he survived that. But then he
me too.
keeps showing up after.
Yeah.
He got shot in the head and survived.
But I like how the Empire is just, fabricating their own version of what's happening because, again, it fits them perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're doing
all
what they do.
Yeah, this was all top notch.
Was Hauser an existing character? Captain, the clone captain or whatever?
Yes, yes, he is. Pretty sure.
Okay, yeah.
He was
Pretty
in Clone
sure
Wars, I think.
Also, the guy that they rescue from Gregor. Yeah, he's in Rebels in one or two episodes.
I love that guy so much. The weird little vocal tick he had was incredible to behold.
Oh, and in that random episode where one of the missions that they're sent on when they are sent in to go get that Separatist droid brain that they fail on, the two girls.
Right.
They're from the last season of Clone Wars where they meet Ahsoka, and that's where that comes from.
Oh, okay.
That's why they knew who Rex was, because you have that cool ending scene where they're like, oh, we have this hologram guy we're talking to, and it turned out it's just Rex.
Yeah, it makes you think they're going to betray them, but then it's Rex, yeah.
Incredibly
I thought that
excited
hologram was Ahsoka until they showed it was Rex.
Me too.
Oh, that would have been cool. Yeah.
I thought Ahsoka was going to show up. I just got this feeling of it, and then I was like, Rex. I'm like, oh, Rex. Okay, that works too.
Rex makes more sense. I mean, Ahsoka's around at this point.
Yeah.
So I can't say that. I don't want to go in too much with Ahsoka because that's a big spoiler for Rebels, but she is around at this time.
I guess I've got to watch Rebels before we watch the live action Ahsoka show too.
Preferably, or I can tell you what
that's
happens.
coming soon. No, that's fine. I'll watch Rebels next.
Yeah.
I'll start watching Rebels.
So if you do, let me know. I got an idea. So
all right, yeah, we'll do Rebels. We'll do Ahsoka. We'll do it all.
I have
another thing that I also want to talk about in this, or one of the other episodes, like in the first episode or the first like two-part, when you see a lot of, I feel like very good stuff with that episode of just kind of being introduced to the characters and seeing how the Bad Batch doesn't really want to follow orders and everything like that. And one thing I do really want to bring up is the second episode, Cut and Run, when they decide they want to leave the Empire and they don't know what to do. That guy is actually from a season 2 of Clone Wars that they run into. The random clone that has a family and kids and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's from one random episode in Clone Wars season 2, I guess.
That makes sense. Yeah, it seemed familiar. I'll say it reminded me a lot of in the Republic Commando novels. There's a Mandalorian living like a domestic lifestyle like that, trying to stay out of everything that had been. Yeah.
Are we feeling good about like the daddy issues that happened throughout this show with Omega and Hunter? There's a lot.
He tries to be her father.
I'm not saying there's anything like gross or weird about it in that sense. I just think it's funny watching their dynamic develop because she's so raw to the world and he's had so much experience.
But then she's older than him too, which is funny.
Yeah.
That part was hilarious when you find out she's older and then he's the one trying to be her father. It's like,
I really like their dynamic. I like how like in that episode too, he's told like you have to be a father. You can't treat her like a soldier. He's like, kids are going to get in trouble. You need to, and I think that was a really good thing right there, the way they do it.
Yeah, I mostly bought it.
The way they grow.
Yeah, I like they say in the last episode, she says, to Crosshair, they're still your brothers. You're still their brother. You're my brother too. I like that. Like the idea that she's like their sister. Like that they're all. I like that idea of it. I thought it was really well done. Yeah.
They're all technically family.
Early in the season, they are definitely pushing a Hunter is the dad kind of thing. And Wrecker is a lot of fun. My kid was constantly just like cackling at Wrecker's lines.
Wrecker was my favorite, actually.
Yeah, he's like my favorite.
Yeah, he's like the older brother, really.
he's so good. You'll see him in the background. He's just constantly like doing like military press with the golf droid.
The droid.
He's just sitting there with the golf, like in the background. It'll just be randomly in the background. He'll just be back there like just military pressing the golf droid. I love it. And my son was like, what is the golf droid's purpose? Or I said something. I was like, what is the golf droid's purpose on that ship? And my son's like, he's a weight.
Pretty much. I think that's the
for most
purpose.
of the thing he is until the one time they use him as a battery.
Yeah, they fixed him up and
that happened. That happened, and my son was like, "Oh, that'd be cool if we had a gonk droid. We could like charge our tablet and stuff like instantly." And
hey, no, that's not a bad idea. Have a walking around thing that you can just plug everything into. Okay,
I don't know. That thing would be loud. I don't want to just walk around my house going.
Or just gonk.
It'd drive me insane.
Sounds like a duck.
It was good though. Like, okay, that's funny. Wrecker, I enjoy.
Having a duck, yeah.
I think I really like Echo for some. I felt Echo was a great character because Echo was in Clone Wars. Also, I don't remember him very well in it, but just the fact of all like the PTSD that he has from what he went through. Like when he sees Tarkin, he's like, "Fuck that guy!" Like pretty much. He doesn't say that, of course, but because Tarkin in the Clone Wars leaves him for dead.
Yeah.
Right.
When he's not dead,
I completely forgot about that. But
well, I don't know if you've seen it. It's not in this, but in the Bad Bat little like 3-part episode they rescue him. They find him butchered. He's missing arms. He's missing a leg or something. And he's hooked up to all these different droid type things. And the Separatists have been using him to get information on the clone and how to beat him.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I didn't remember him from it, but I was like, that's really cool. That actually is, well, and that's also straight out of like Republic Commando.
Yep.
Like it starts off with they get a new, at least the first book, Hard Contact starts off with they've gotten a new member who was added to their squad after a member of their squad was killed at the battle of whatever at the end of the Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones.
Geonosis.
Yeah. The battle is like the first book. The prologue is taking place during that battle, and one of them dies, and then they get a new member in the and to replace the one that died. And they've been like brothers since they were, hatched, basically. And they've got this new member in their team, but they end up taking him in and he becomes a brother to them too. And that's Echo right there. He's part of the Bad Batch, but he's not one of the defective clones. He was added into him because he's disabled, I guess. But not really. He just has prosthesis. But
I feel bad for Echo during this season because he kind of seems to get like short lines here and there.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have a special power. He doesn't have a superpower, right?
No, he's just a regular. He was just experimented on and turned into.
He does get the fun thing where he pretends to be a droid.
He does all the blocking of everything.
They sell him to the guy.
Yeah, there were a lot of fun adult jokes with that going on there.
I love that. They sell him. Like, don't worry, you're not actually a droid.
It was his first episode, the Echo in the Clone Wars too, is where they got the name the Bad Batch. Because that came from the janitor who was a defective clone.
Beautiful.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah,
that's cool. I remember the janitor. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if you listen to him, he actually says, we're a Bad Batch at one point.
Huh.
That's cool. Okay,
I gotta catch up on the Clone Wars too, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I have to now too. I kind of undervalued it.
I want to rewatch Clone Wars, but I need to find one of those like lists where like there's like 50 episodes because I'm not up for like 300 damn episodes or however many of that there is.
How do you guys feel about the Gennady Tartakovsky Clone Wars?
I like it. I watched them. I watched them when they first came out, and I liked it.
I love
that one where Mace Windu just like almost straight up murders General Grievous. Explaining why General Grievous has a cough.
Oh,
General Grievous is coughing because Mace Windu almost
almost took him right before that battle. Where we see him in whatever the third episode 3. I can't
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Right before that, he gets like crushed.
Yeah, like Mace Windu's like force crushing his like heart, like he's like Darth Vader. Yeah, it's great.
I have to watch that. I want to watch it. I've never got around to
see how he gets those lightsabers, and it's cool stuff.
I'm hoping they bring the bounty hunter from that at some point into it. The one that, or soldier or whatever he is. It's like a whole bunch of creatures inside the suit of armor.
Oh yeah,
I would love to see him in something modern.
Yeah, put him in a live action movie. Just do it.
Yeah, he would be like body horror.
Another episode I want to bring up that I thought was good is this when they have to go help out the Separatists and they don't want to because they fought these guys for so many years. And I want to say that general is from Clone Wars. I want to say not general, but whoever he is, but that guy.
Senator.
I could have swore I've seen him in Clone Wars before. It's been a while.
You definitely saw him. I think it was in the episode where Padme is trying to get peace with them behind the back.
Okay.
I think that's the episode because I know I recognize it. Same thing.
Okay, but I really like that, whole where this is when they kind of start really realizing how bad the Empire is because they're like, they're seeing what they're doing and it, and he's realizing and the fact that the Empire, the Empire beat them and is, invading them now essentially. But I mean, it's good to really see that and how they don't want to help. They don't want to help the Separatists, and they realize, our enemy from yesterday is no longer our enemy. Now,
right.
They're starting to realize how much has changed. I thought that was good. That's a really good episode. And you get to see a lot of good tanks in that one and stuff. Because this is before I forget when did the Imperials switch over weapons? The Empire does to what we see them with, in the other Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
I wanted to mention the scene where they push a tank whole tanks over the side of a cliff, and that was the droid that pops up and looks down at him and goes, "Hey, stop that!"
Yeah, that
was when I finally realized they had perfected the droid humor at this point. Because the droid humor early on was pretty awful, but that was fantastic.
It's not bad in Clone Wars later on.
Yeah, it's better than the live action Phantom Menace.
Oh, for sure. I love that movie. Oh yeah, stop it.
Not that bad in that movie.
That's bad.
So you can hear that whole episode not out yet, but it'll be out by the time you hear this. So, but no, I'm trying to think of some other episode. Oh, one episode that I wasn't crazy about, but it was fine to have something that was different was the infested one when they had we were talking about the spice, but they're just fighting a bunch of bugs.
Got ourselves another monster of the week.
Yeah, that was the Pike Syndicate episode.
Yeah, same one.
Yeah.
Felt like good John Carpenter to me, kind of.
Oh yeah.
I think War Mantle is still one of my favorite episodes when they go into that base. I really like that. I also, in the first episode, to kind of double back, when they're sent to go kill Saw Gerrera, and then you get introduced to Saw in this, which I'm happy is only that one little part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice to see him again, but yeah, they didn't need to go too much into it because I want to see Andor because I hear he's in that bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's good. Andor is amazing. Like Andor is just outstanding show. And yeah, he's in 2 episodes of Andor. Yeah. 2 or 3, I think 2. Just very briefly, and it's plenty. It's all you need.
Yeah. Like to show that the Empire's like, okay, we got to kill him because we know he's going to be a problem because he didn't side with us. Like, because he fight in the Clone Wars where you first get introduced to him, and you also see him in Rebels too, where he meets them and he doesn't. You're starting to see more of the Saw Gerrera that we know from Rogue One, where he's already starting to kind of be a little crazy, like in Andor. He's starting to, he's losing it. Not as bad as he will get in Rogue One, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How do we feel about going into the Kaminoan lab? That was a little weird, right?
I mean, in the end?
Yeah, towards the end. I'm sorry if I'm skipping ahead.
It doesn't matter.
That's fine.
That's an episode 15.
Like, where they go in the lab, like, what was weird about it? I don't remember.
I seem to remember, like, bodies, like, in tubes and stuff.
Was that the lab? About the other one.
That was the other one, yeah.
Okay,
that's something I do want to talk about. When Cad Bane catches Omega and he's gonna sell her to the other one of the Camino scientists, you see another Camino facility, but this time this one's not on an ocean. And I really like that. Like that's where you see these weird tubes of like failed clone projects or whatever they were up to on a different planet doing probably the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you get the feeling from that the Kaminoans are all clones?
They are.
I was wondering.
I figured they are,
Yeah, I figured the same thing. And when I started seeing that, I'm like, okay, they're confirming now at this point, because they were Kaminoans in those tubes.
Oh, I didn't catch that, but okay.
The one that fell on Omega was a Kaminoan, so that's what made me think, okay, so they're confirming that they are all clones.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's a Star Trek episode, too, I want to say, where they're all clones, and they're like, yeah, we need new DNA. So we're going to take your DNA, but a different thing. But that's what it reminded me of also.
Maybe that's what they need Omega for.
Yeah.
How many children's cartoons do you think openly acknowledge like clone slavery?
Man, I remember when I was a kid, like when I was in like 5th grade, which would have been like 93, 92. Yep. There was a show I was super into called Exo Squad.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I remember.
And the plot of that is that humanity built a slave race of clones, and the clones rose up and overthrew humanity and took over Earth, and now humanity is living like on the fringes of the solar system as like a ragtag rebellion, and the clones have taken over everything. And there's one of the clones is on their team. He's like, he's joined the humans and is on their team. He's a pilot. He's a pilot, and that was really good.
People were getting away with a lot in cartoons.
Yeah, well, it was. I remember it being really good. I don't know if it actually was. The toys were amazing, though.
The toys were awesome. Yeah.
I would save up my allowance, and because it was like $20, and that's $20 in 1990s dollars.
Yeah.
And I would buy them, and they're like 20 or 25 each. I had 3 of them, or 2 of them. I still have them, actually. I have them in a box in my garage right now, but. Yeah, I had the leader and then the sergeant.
I have never heard of the show before.
I had the clone one, that one toy.
Oh, you had the clone one, yeah, where it was like it was a 2-seater that had the girl that was a jump trooper.
Yeah, it's the only one I had, and I don't have it anymore.
They had a whole separate. They had like in the show. There's like a whole there's like ODST type soldiers, like Halo, like with like power armor, and they're called jump troopers, and then you had the Exo Squad people who were in big mechs instead of the jump troopers and the mechs. It was very it had definitely some Gundam like Robotech kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I remember it being a good show, but I was 11 years old, so there's no telling.
There's also a Sega Genesis game I just found out by Googling.
Oh yeah, there's that Sega Genesis game. Yep.
Yeah, I never played the game, but I always wanted to get it.
I didn't have a Genesis. I had a Super Nintendo, so I that was one of the games that I really wanted.
I'm Genesis, but hard to get games up here.
I'm a Sega Genesis boy, so I'm going to look that up.
Oh, and for my one listener that I know for sure, I found someone else in Newfoundland, Blair. Found another person there.
Hi, Blair. Jody. I'm in Marystown. I'm not that far from you.
He'll listen to this, and I will tell him there's a shout out to him. So.
What's the chances you know each other? Yeah.
We got to start that the Newfoundland anthem before the pod.
Yeah, we were talking before the recording, and I was like, and Mike was like, Newfoundland is really small, right? And you were like, well, geographically, it's really big.
Yeah,
But
we're about 3 times the size of Great Britain, but
We
yeah,
are.
500,000
Yeah.
people.
So I live in Texas, so
Yeah.
I too know what it's like to drive for 15 hours and still be in your own
In the same place.
state. The same place. Yes,
I
Yeah,
do not.
definitely.
I'm in Minnesota and I can drive out of Minnesota not that hard.
Yeah.
But I had done it multiple times. So all right, I'm trying to think of some other stuff I want to bring up from here. Yes.
I had one thing, and I'm wondering, I'm not even sure if this is a plot hole or not. In the beginning, when the Bad Batch, the inhibitor chips don't cause them to obey Order 66. I get that. Why did they not even know what the order was?
Well, so that's been a thing. Like, I think canonically, Clone Wars establishes. Is it Clone Wars that establishes that it was like post-hypnotic suggestion type thing that was like
Yes.
buried in their brains, so they don't know about it.
Yeah, they have to hear it of some sort. Like in almost everything.
They're like sleeper agents. They were programmed. If they hear it, then it activates. But they didn't know.
So because it wasn't, the suggestion wasn't working right on them. They heard it, but it didn't change anything.
Yes, because they're
Right.
so different. They're all altered.
Okay.
The only one it affects is Crosshair because Crosshair was the more normal of them. He wasn't as far off. If I remember correctly, Echo, probably didn't have his because he gets tortured by droid.
Well, he's
Rex,
got half his head droid now.
yes, Rex gets his taken out in Clone Wars. There's actually a whole episode in Clone Wars that talks about one of the clones finds out about it and is trying to stop it, and things. If I remember correctly, things don't go too well for him. So
Yeah, I remember
Good.
that episode, but I got confused by that. I was trying to shouldn't they know what it is and just not obey? But so it's more than just telling them to obey. It's a whole thing.
Yeah,
it was in there as a control chip and to make sure they did. It's like a failsafe. It's just that Palpatine, being Palpatine, decided to use it to do what his whole plan was. I don't think they knew what his plan was.
the Kaminoans don't know what the plan is. They just, if you're going to build a giant army, you need to have a failsafe.
Fail-safe, just in case.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not canon, but I like to talk about Republic Commando again. The 4th Republic Commando novel is called Order 66. And in that one, it's like, there's no chip, but it's that post-hypnotic suggestion thing. And when it goes off, the Delta Squad, they all kind of deal with it differently because they're able to get past it. But it's one of those things of where they don't know what should we do about this, because those books definitely do not make the Jedi as unequivocally the good guys.
No, the Jedi aren't.
You read those books and you're like, I don't know, man. Some of the Jedi are good people and stuff, but some of them are definitely not. And this whole slave army situation was not very light side, was it?
No.
But,
the fact that they just went along with it, out of nowhere. They find this army.
One of the clones has at that point is secretly married and has a child with a Jedi, so that's a whole thing. So
the Jedi are a weird religious cult we should all be very fearful of, in my opinion.
No, the Jedi are not. In Clone Wars, I think it does a good job of you see Jedi who don't even really turn to the dark side, they just turn. They're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
So there's some really good stuff.
That frog Jedi did it.
I also think the Clone Wars does a really good job of showing Anakin why Anakin changed, and not just, my Padme died in my dream, I'm gonna kill everyone I know. It really shows why he turns versus that stupid godforsaken movie 3. So we'll get there eventually. Me and Kerry will.
Yeah, I can see that. The movies, I actually liked the prequels to an extent.
I like one. I like Phantom Menace a lot.
Wow.
I actually like Revenge of the Sith too. Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. Parts of it.
That's okay, as long as you don't say, I like Sand. Sand is rough.
I didn't say I like the dialogue. I like the overall idea.
I can find something to like about every Star Wars movie. Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, I can find something to like about all of them. I was going to say except for Rise of Skywalker, but then I thought of one scene in Rise of Skywalker that I liked. So,
there's one thing in Rise of Skywalker I like, that it's so different from Legends, but then I don't think they did it right. The whole Return of Palpatine thing was done in Legends better, but I think that's what they were trying to take. I think they were trying to take inspiration from that and just...
Yeah. My thing I like in Rise of Skywalker is when Rey hears the voices of all the Jedi before her.
Yeah.
I thought that was neat. I was that was cool. But I especially just love that for the meme of it that came out where it's all those, and then you see Mace Windu saying, "Kill this motherfucker."
That's exactly what he would say too. Yeah, I agree.
My favorite part of Rise of Skywalker was the round of Tekken I played in the lobby.
There you go. Last
Oh,
movie I saw before COVID, too.
a random thing I want to say.
Yeah.
I love Rise of Skywalker when I saw it in theaters, but let's not. I'm not going to go. I
Then-
cried, okay? I thought that movie was so good. I've only seen it once in theaters, have not seen it again, and I will not watch it again until I do it for this podcast.
It's okay to have.
I do think overall it's good. I just think there's issues, but
So,
Yeah.
I think it's better than The Last
Okay.
Jedi.
Anyway, we from our
Anyway.
our episode on Phantom Menace, Mike and I came. Well, Mike went in saying he loves that movie. I went in going, you know what? It's not as bad as I remember it being. It's actually all right. It's not that bad.
I don't know.
It's probably the 5th best Star Wars movie. I'm
Phantom
saying a
Menace.
lot, but still.
Well, it came out
Maybe
at
I'll
the right time
rewatch
in my
it
life. I
someday.
was 14 when it came out.
Yeah,
Another thing I
was
want to bring up is the voice of that senator, the right in Ryloth, the blue guy,
Yep.
is Phil
Yeah.
Lamar does the voice for him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I can say, 'cause I actually met Phil Lamar at a convention.
Wow.
That guy can do a voice out of nowhere. Because I came up to him like, oh, I really liked you in Vamp, and all of a sudden he started quoting a line from Vamp. I had no idea what he was saying. I was like, oh, cool. And I'm like, I got no fucking memory of what you're saying, but cool. You signed my Funko Pop, so he signed.
Is that Vamp
That's
from
all I
Metal
cared
Gear?
about. But he's a nice guy. But he can really change his voice. You can't even recognize.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of put that in there. Oh, also another Easter egg thing that was brought up to me is when you see Cad Bane in this, Cad Bane it has a metal plate on his head. Apparently, that was from an arc that was supposed to be in where Boba Fett fights him in the Clone Wars, but they cut that arc out completely. But
Oh,
they kept that there because that's supposed to have happened in canon.
That's cool.
So that's
That is
why
cool.
that's there randomly. Because again,
I noticed the metal plate, but I wondered where it came from. I thought it was just something I forgot about.
no, it's an arc they never finished. There's multiple arcs they never actually got around to.
Yeah, the relationship with Cad Bane and his robot was really fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was.
Oh, and I want to kind of go to the last few episodes that we kind of touch on a little bit. Like I said before, you have War Mantle where they go in to get that clone. That's where you have Hunter gets captured and then they're sent to Kamino because they take Hunter there as a trap. And the whole idea that they're pretty much the Empire just wants to kill all the Kaminoans that aren't scientists. They just want to get he's like, I don't have a need for a politician, and he just shoots the guy.
yeah,
I mean, it makes sense though.
To be clear, they don't actually show him shoot him. He says, I have no need for a politician. Take care of him, and then they close the door. So because it's still kids
dead.
show. I was like,
He's
they
fucking
should
dead.
this door close, and then you should hear blaster fire from the other side. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do the blaster fire because that would still be in touch with the kid show.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they're 100%. He was fucking murdered.
Oh, he was.
Okay, when someone says I don't have need for a politician and they close the door
Take
on
care
you,
of him.
yeah, you're not coming out of that room alive.
No.
This was the first real genocide the Empire did.
The first
The
of many.
ones? Yeah.
In the new
They
ones,
kind
yeah.
of kill. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of clones end up getting killed too because when you see clones are all gone. This show kind of shows the beginning of that where they're conscripting people. You have a small scene really early in the show where the guy's like, the Republic didn't do anything for me. The Empire put a roof over my head, gave me food. Yes, because they made you a soldier.
I gotta say, I really love the actor who did Admiral Rampart. Incredible, little nuances he brought to his character. Good time with him.
Yeah.
That's the chain code guy, right?
That's the young fella that took over from Tarkin as the head of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I like how they're trying to Canadians are
Admiral
trying
Rampart,
to prove
yeah.
that you need clones. Oh, hey, you can still use the whole idea with Omega. The way I took it, at least, if the show doesn't say it, is that they needed her because she had Jango Fett DNA. What's so special about Jango Fett? I got no fucking idea. But that's why they wanted her, because she had the pure DNA they could use to keep cloning to make more clones, even though because they were trying to figure out, how are we going to stay in business, which makes sense.
Yeah, and the Prime Minister at one point says, with her, we could make superior clones.
Oh.
So he said that, and it was just sort of a throwaway line in an early episode, and it stuck with me. And
Interesting.
I'm wondering if that's going to come out later.
Can you imagine a clone juggling? Just the refinement they could have gotten out of Omega. I'm sorry.
I'm assuming there's going to be more. I want to see where this goes with Omega, because I feel like she's not just a throwaway character. I mean, partly I feel like it's the whole thing of the whole, okay, we're going to take, with Mandalorian, you have Mandalorian, you have, Baby Yoda. So the idea was to take a army of clones and then put a kid with them too to have to keep that style.
They need the kid because it's a kid's show, so you got to have a kid for the kids to relate to is the idea.
Yeah.
Because everybody related to Robin and Batman and Robin, so.
And I thought that I was going to find her annoying, but I did not actually. I found her endearing.
I didn't either.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did a good job with a kid character because they can go so wrong with that.
I love the way she pronounces tech. Tick.
I mean, it makes me. I want to go watch like the Hunt for the Wilder People now. Like it's just so the key, just all the key.
I didn't think I was going to like her character, but she grew on me a lot in this. Like, in this whole first season, I mean, she completely grows. Like, I mean, there's a small
she's
part.
their conscience, too.
Yeah. She's great for it. Like, I'm assuming that she's going to be a character that's going to be in live action, like Ahsoka, or somewhere down the road, we're going to see her. Like, she's going to survive and continue on into Star Wars. And I'm okay with that.
That'd be cool.
What do you think of her weapon?
I like the crossbow. Yeah, great.
It's a regular. It's a bow, but it's like first of all,
bow
it made me
that
think,
makes energy bolt.
Yeah,
right, and it's so impractical.
It is.
I was watching it with my son, and I was like, I go, that bow annoys me. He's like, why? And I'm like, because it's dumb. Like you got to pull it back, and she's not strong enough for it, so she's shaking, and it's like it's no more powerful than a regular blaster. But a regular blaster doesn't, you could use with one hand, and he goes, but it's cool looking. I was like, all right, well, there you go. It's doing what it's supposed to do.
It looks cool.
It is the weapon of the slave traders. I mean, so that was from Clone Wars show. And I guess they wanted to give her something different to make her stand out more, too.
They wanted to give her a weapon, but they don't want to have her have a gun, is what it is.
Okay, yeah.
They don't, you don't want, like, the 10-year-old with a gun, so you give her a bow and arrow, because that's not the same, even though it's doing the exact same thing as a gun. But that's what it is. It's very much that. What it made me think of is it makes me think of Blade Trinity. Where she's got the bow where it's hot as it's the sun or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Oh, hey, we actually have a review of that movie too. You should go listen to it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what episode it is, but we did cover it on this show.
That whole movie is such a mess.
It is, but I love it.
I wasn't listening to you for like 2 months. So
that's the one where they fight Dracula, right? Like Dracula's actually in it. Yeah. Oh god. Oh,
I like that actor that played Dracula.
It was Jessica Biel. That's who it was. It was Jessica Biel.
I really like Jessica Biel. I really like that movie. I don't know why. It's just a dumb movie, but I really.
It is so. I saw it in the theater.
Oh my
movie!
word.
There's 3 dumb movies. I don't like the Blade movies very much, but Trinity wasn't as bad as the other 2.
Oh no, I love Blade 2.
I love Blade.
Blade 2.
And Blade 2 is good too. Yeah.
Same.
I'm not a big vampire guy.
Oh man, I love Blade. I was like a fan of Blade since I was a kid. When he was in Spider-Man, like hunting Morbius, and I was like,
I actually liked him in that, but I liked Morbius in that than I did any other version of Morbius I've seen.
Well, I think there's nothing there.
With the hand suckers. I gotta admit, that's the Morbius I think of is with the hand suckers.
Hand suckers, yeah.
Because you can't throw it on good show.
Yeah.
God bless Spider-Man, the animated series. God bless it.
God bless it. That show, man, I took that show really seriously as a kid.
I did too.
I thought, man, this is like elevated animated show. This is like on a level with Batman the Animated Series or something. And Batman the Animated Series actually holds up really well, and Spider-Man does not. Oh no,
no, it doesn't.
Well,
I tried watching it.
So bad.
Okay,
really bad.
Everything that doesn't hold up well works as like infinite camp for me. So it's just like still like one of my favorite things ever, because whenever it's just like reusing animation, it's always so serious about it too. And then there's all the weird stuff with like Mary Jane hanging around. But this is not a podcast about that show.
Very true.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. We ended up putting. What I want to bring up also in the last 2 episodes, like when you have Crosshair, when you kind of find out everything about him and how he's like, I got my chip taken out a while ago. What people think on the internet is that in the episode when they're in the trash planet, he gets when they turn the engine on, the engine hits him and that fries the chip in his head.
Yeah, because they show that he's got a head injury. He's like got his head all wrapped up in bandages and stuff. That's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that would mean in the first couple episodes he would have been under the inhibitor.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, he says a while ago, and they're like, when? And he's like, does it matter? He's like, yes. And it's like...
that makes sense, because the first one, he's really holding his head a lot. Like the chip's
because in the beginning, I mean, it went, and the explanation for it is that, like I said, he wasn't as altered as they were, so that's why it hits him. Like with Wrecker, you see, it doesn't hit him until way later, because it finally just hits, I guess.
I love the terse dialogue between Hunter and Crosshair before Crosshair fully abandons them. Like, they have such a tense relationship between each other.
You can kind of already see there's already issues. Like, I do love the part, like, in the first episode again, where Kanan goes away. He's like, oh, he failed. He's like, then why are you looking across?
Yeah.
Why are you looking
and
down?
then it gets him on, like, a moral, like, clause, like, maybe some of us don't like to look like.
Yeah. What I mean, they're all the same brother. Like, you're all same DNA. You're all killers. I mean, you're all trained killers.
Like, a soldier would be trained to look down to see. Like, he's not stupid. Hunter's trying to make him see.
In the final
brothers,
episode,
he knows them.
Yeah.
You have a couple cool things across here. You have the one with the mirror. He shoots a mirror and kills all the people that are standing that are with him, all his guards, all his soldiers. And then the whole, like, when they're fighting the robots together as a group, and you get to see the Bad Batch, how they work together. Like, there's a part where Hunter jumps in, stabs a droid with his knife, jumps off. Crosshair shoots him right in the head while he's distracted. Like, it's just, it was really cool to see that. Even though they, at this point they try to kill each other, to see them working together, like, it's all still there, and I really like that a lot.
On, like, some shows, like, stuff like that could be viewed as filler, but on this show, it's always welcome because it's just an excuse for really great action scenes.
Nothing felt filler to me.
Yeah.
It all felt like, I mean, I know some people complain, like, people say the Infest episode was filler and things like that. I felt everything played its own part. Like, I know one of the complaints was, like, the fan servicey stuff. Like, you have the part where you have Omega playing chess. But to me, it didn't feel like filler. I felt like they're showing you that she's a great strategist. Like, she knows what the hell, like, her brain, again, is altered.
Yeah, exactly.
She's not, because she shouldn't be, she shouldn't be able to beat everybody in chess like that. And people are like, oh, well, it's just chess. If someone's really good at chess, chances are, if you put them in a battlefield and teach them.
It's not chess, it's Dejarik.
Close enough.
Yes. You respect this made-up game, sir.
I do. Yes, exactly. No. I think she would. Like, she's super intelligent. They've shown that already. So.
It made me think of Ender's Game. Not the movie, the good stuff, the book.
The book, right.
I know the author's psycho, but the book is good.
I think every bit of what you could call filler in this, though, each bit of it still gives a little more to the personality of the different characters.
Exactly.
Everything has a point. Even if it's a little side mission, it still has a point towards the main story of who they are and helping us see who they are.
Yeah,
so,
there are some filler-ish episodes, but yeah, they're used well. Yeah, they don't feel wasted at all.
Like, it doesn't bother me having them just, like, I know it's one of the other complaints I saw was like, oh, they're just doing random little missions. Like, yes, because that's just kind of show you more of the world, to kind of show you what, these characters are going through. I liked all that. I didn't have any problem with it.
Yeah, and because, I mean, it's a 16-episode animated kids show. I mean, it's going to have, so it's not going to be just like, it's not going to be Andor, Yeah.
Oh, one thing that I want to go back to, because I want to get your guys' opinion for ones that haven't watched Clone Wars like me. What did you think of the episode when they're sent to go get that droid head? I mean, I didn't care for the girls. They're annoying to me. But what did you guys think of the fact, like, of them, did you understand the importance of that droid head?
Yeah, I mean,
think so.
They explained it. They explained it, that it's a tactical droid. And
if you've even watched a little bit of the Clone Wars, like, those tactical droids showed up all the time in Clone Wars, showing where they were.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, to me, it was also kind of cool because, like, I was thinking about how much issue, like, they must have, because they fight those droids. I mean, those droids are fucking bad. Like, and to see the fact that this guy's like, hey, we need a head. And this is, again, the moral dilemma. They're like, well, should we really, like, give it to someone that's going to use it to kill our brothers? Like, maybe not. But yes, you should.
Well, I like that when the girls are like, wait, you don't even know who you're giving this to?
Yeah.
You just talked about how dangerous it is and you don't even know who you're giving it to? I like that.
And it won't be their brothers much longer because it goes, stormtroopers come in so quickly.
Yeah.
No, but you also get to see stormtrooper armor in this too, like in the base. You get to start seeing that, and I got a big kick out of that.
I liked when they were breaking, what's his name, out. What was his, Gregor? Was that
Gregor?
Yeah, and they're busting him out, and they're like, and they're just murking this, just like taking out stormtroopers left and right, and they're like, man, really? I thought you trained these guys. He's like, yeah, see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I did. You don't train them everything.
Yeah. That was funny.
But he's saying
the whole idea, like, they're like, this is cheaper, but I guess conscripting people depending on what you're paying them would be. I'm guessing that whatever the hell they do with the clones was not cheap.
Yeah, I think, and it's also that they want to cut the Kaminoans out of the equation because they don't trust that the Kaminoans will be loyal to them.
They weren't going to be.
And we know that it's expensive. We know that too.
Well, and they were Minoans were looking for another buyer just when they found out. Oh, like let's get out of here so we can keep doing clones somewhere else. Like the prime minister said that. Like let's get out of here before the Empire kills us because they're going to.
Yeah. How'd that work out?
Not so well.
Oh yeah, it ends with Nala Se being like, I'm wondering what she's going to be doing in the next season.
Yeah, I was curious about that myself. The welcome wagon they brought in for her in that laboratory.
That very like Admiral Dela like woman that like is like, we're going to do great things together.
Yeah.
Top men working on it. Top. Right?
It's going to be somehow linked.
It's Captain Bragg. I think Captain Bragg, is it who that is?
Oh, there's also another Easter egg with that. The outfit that doctor is wearing is the same outfit the doctor was wearing in Mandalorian. For Grogu.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that's
Again,
why I think
thank you,
it might be
YouTube.
Connected.
But I wouldn't connect. I mean, YouTube.
that makes sense. Yeah.
I watch video like whenever I like to cover stuff. I like to watch videos about things, especially Easter egg videos, to kind of see things that my brain would not have put together that someone else did for me. So I can mention other people.
Actually, there's something I watched on YouTube just recently was talking about the number of clones is talked about, and like the number of clones is not even close enough to run an army for the entire galaxy. So I'm wondering if that's what they're leaning into with stormtroopers. They can actually supply now troops throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because you'd have to clone so many.
Yeah, especially if they're trying to expand.
If they're going to occupy places, especially. It's one thing to have like an army that you're zipping around the galaxy.
Yeah, but to actually occupy all these planets?
To occupy, you got to have the conscripts.
Look, they're not going to be able to put as many clones out in that Epcot Center replica that was the Kaminoan building, okay? It's just too damn small.
Yeah.
It's true.
I like they showed like the young clones, and they're like, "Are we still going to be soldiers though?" And she's like, "Of course, that is what you were made for." And it's like, but there's like 4 of them or like 6 of them.
No, yeah, there's like 6 in a row walking.
Yeah,
but I'm like, what? Like
you're all going to be executed. Is what? What's really?
Yeah, what's going to happen to these? Are they going to use the clones they've got at least?
I don't think so. I think they get rid of Obi-Wan has a small scene. Where the clone is a beggar. I mean, my guess is that they just kind of get rid of them pretty quickly.
Well, I mean, they all die. They age quickly, so I mean, they shouldn't live very long anyway.
Okay.
Unless they've got something to make them stop aging, then they age in I think it was 5 years.
Yeah. Compare the Bad Batch's age to Omega's. If she's older than them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to age out quick.
Rex is in Rebels, and Rex looks like an old man.
He looks like an old man.
Supposedly, I think this is a fan theory again, Rex is in Return of the Jedi. Supposedly. That's supposed to be Rex, people say now. I don't think that's ever been proven by Disney.
It's like retconned that one of the random...
Rebels, yeah. There's an old guy.
Oh, yes.
In Return of the Jedi, one of the Rebels on Endor is an old guy.
Endor, yeah. Strike him on Endor. There's like an older commando guy, and then fans will be like, see, that's Rex. I don't know if there's any evidence of that.
I mean, they should just say, yep, sure, it's Rex. Okay, you got it. We'll sell you toys. Here you go. Buy some more toys.
I would buy
Here's Rex on Endor. Special edition.
I would buy it. That would be cool.
I gotta admit, I'd go for that. At least.
Hey, Hasbro does dumb shit like that. Oh,
honestly, I think that would be kind of cool if that turned out to be true. But
I want it to be true because also supposedly Hera is involved in that mission too in Endor, and I think that's canon.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I think there's some comment in End of Rebels, like somewhere, or maybe I'm making this up. I don't think I am. I think I read this somewhere that somehow she's involved in like she's part of the Rebel Alliance at that time.
Well, it makes sense for her to be a pilot in Lando's squad that's attacking the Death Star.
Yeah,
she could be one of the random pilots, and we just don't see it. That's fine. Yeah.
No, I mean I like that though. But I was going to say, like Hasbro does dumb shit. Like there's a Boba Fett toy, a Black Label figure that for some reason costs like $5 more than every other Black Label figure just because it's Boba Fett. No difference. And I'm part of a toy group here in Minnesota. That's how I know this stuff. And people are they're not buying it. They're like, we're just waiting for it to hit clearance. We're just waiting. We want it, but we're not. We're going to show them. And like every time you see pictures of people just posting it, just sitting on the shelf, nobody will buy it because they're just waiting for the price drop as a fuck you for raising the price for one toy $5 more.
That's funny.
Well, so, yeah, they tried to sell Book of Boba Fett trading cards because I merchandise trading cards, and we never sold one batch here.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that show was. I was so excited for that show, and God, was I let down.
Yeah,
I liked some parts of it.
Same.
Yeah.
I like some parts
It's like
of
the
it.
Power Rangers.
No, I like the
Okay.
Rancor. I like what they did with the Rancor and show
Oh.
how. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like there was a lot of
I
stuff.
really
that, yeah,
enjoyed the
it was-
Mandalorian episodes that were in the Book of Boba Fett too. I enjoyed those the most.
I know which
We
is
just
the
take
ones I
away
saw
Boba Fett.
complained about the most. But I liked them. I thought they were really good. I liked him learning to use the Darksaber in it.
Yeah, that was cool. It just, I just wanted so much. Boba Fett is one of my favorite characters. Like, I would have liked to. I'm hoping that as this show progresses, Bad Batch, that we do see Boba Fett in this. Like,
That
it's a
would be
great
cool.
opportunity to put him because he's around at this
Mhm.
time.
But he'd be a child right now.
Is he still
Right.
a kid then?
He'd be a little older though, wouldn't he?
Well, I guess no, he'd be a teenager.
Be like
yeah.
a teenager, which is when he started bounty
Or
hunting.
he might even be young 20s. Come to think of it, because he's like 10 in Clone Wars,
Yeah,
I would say.
I'd say like
12
10,
maybe,
like 12 maybe.
12 at the most. So that's what, like 3 or 4 years before Bad Batch. So
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
Clone Wars only lasts. I think the war lasts like 2 or 3 years. It's not very long.
Yeah,
yeah,
Even though Anakin looks completely different from Attack of the Clones to Clone Wars, but
yeah.
yeah, it's not that long. The war doesn't last super long.
it's better than from Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like 10 years though, wasn't it, or something? It's not that
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, it's 10 years, but it's they didn't pick an actor that looked even remotely the same.
That and Padme does not look that much older because
Well, yeah,
It's the
it
same
saves that
actor.
much because it's the same actor. So that
This is not that many years later.
yeah, I can overlook it, but yeah, it was jarring when I first saw it.
yeah.
I just hate everything about the second movie, but that's a whole other conversation.
I don't like Attack of the Clones, but whatever.
Oh, and one other comment somebody brought up in the videos I was watching is that like when they leave Crosshair in that final episode, they're like, yeah, that platform's going to go underwater as soon as they leave because it's designed to go back underwater after the ship flies
Yeah.
off. They're like,
Like
he's
there's
dead.
no power left.
Oh, good point. Okay, but also, what's he waiting for? Like, the Empire just said "fuck you" and burnt and blew up where he was. They don't care. Like, they're not going to come back and get him.
I mean, I guess presumably, if he puts out a distress signal, maybe they'll send someone back. I don't know.
I was hoping that he would join them somewhat or die. I was hoping he would die, to be honest. I wanted to see him sacrifice himself to save them and die.
I was expecting him to join them at the end. That's one of the things I was talking about when I said I was surprised. It actually surprised me there that he just wouldn't. I think it's a bit more realistic though, because honestly, if somebody is that dead set on the Empire, they're not going to turn and change just because it's their family.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
over time, and maybe he's going to show up in the new season. I haven't watched. The
I'm
new
100%
season at all.
positive.
I'll just say he is definitely in the second season.
Yeah.
My prediction for the second season is that he does actually rejoin them and then dies at the end of the season. It's like the final episode of the second season. I expect him to sacrifice himself saving them.
That would be good. Honestly,
Yeah.
that would be good in the story sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to have something like that to happen too, because it just felt like, that's where his story should go. I mean, his story, he should, because like having him be a part of the Empire just seems kind of strange to me too. Like, I get it. A soldier is going to follow the army they feel like they have to.
But you can only see so many people double crossed too, and then be double crossed yourself before you got to give up on it. Because he helped the Empire double cross so many people, like even in the Ryloth episode.
When he talks about how he's going to have a place in the new Empire, I just do not know what he thinks the motivation for that place is. Because he's such an outsider from all the other clones, and he never felt like he was inside that clone family of the Bad Batch anyways, to a degree. So I just don't know what he's accomplishing for himself.
I think he's deluded, but he says in the next to last episode when he's trying to convince Hunter to join him, he's like, that they're going to need like elite soldiers they're not going to find them, and the stormtroopers aren't going to do it. Like, they're going to need people that are a cut above. They're going to need special forces basically, and that's what the Bad Batch is. Which is, again, that's with the Republic Commando, that's what Delta Squad is. They're the special forces, and it's like they're not gonna be easily replaced.
Well, aren't the Royal Guard actually clones in Return of the Jedi? Is it ever stated?
I don't know if that's been stated.
Okay, I know the shock troopers.
I know it was hinted at for a while, but now I'm not sure with how this changed things again. So
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I know in Legends there was like a comic or something where they were like force sensitive people that were trained by Vader or something, but they're not fully enough to become Sith or whatever. But I don't know if that's not canon anymore. Who knows?
No, that's also in the Star Wars.
They're
Force Unleashed
stormtroopers of really cool red armor is what they were.
The Force Unleashed game had a lot of that too, which was canon at the time, but it is not anymore.
Oh, that's what it was. It was Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
That's a good first game.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
I haven't played those. I saw the story, but I haven't played them.
First one is really good. That's all I got. I don't have much to say about the second one. I played it, but it's not as good from what I remember. It was rushed, and there's no third one. So,
well, do we have much more on the Bad Batch, or I feel like we've kind of?
I think. Oh, I do have one last thing that I want to say. This is kind of about the show, but also so back when this first season came out, they made at some point they made a 5-pack of Funko Pop. I'm a big Funko Pop collector, unfortunately. And I remember seeing that, and I remember being like, this is cool, but I'm like, this is wrong because he's not even a part of the team anymore. Because on the cover was Crosshair is in the pack, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you telling me a pack?
They didn't want to spoil the first episode.
Spoil it, yeah.
Yeah. I know. I remember it being weird, and it sat at my Walmart for a long time. It's not there anymore, but it was there for a while. So that's just my.
I would think that the majority of people that buy Funko Pops are older, you know, and then the majority of people that watch Bad Batch are kids. So I can see that.
Yeah, I think that's what turned me off when I was young. You know, not younger. A year, 2 years ago. I think that's what turned me off and made me not watch the show because I did not get into this at all.
It's what
you got me to.
It's what turned me off of Rebels was the art style. It looks too kiddie, but the difference was when this came out, my son is like the perfect age for he's 10, and that's like a great age for this show because it's a little mature for Rebels came out when he was 5, and which is not. I mean, he could have done, but this he's the age where he can actually sit and watch and fully pay attention and understand what's going on and all that kind of stuff. So. We watched it together, and I was like, "Oh man, this is actually top tier Star Wars. This is really good." And I think I really in my rankings of Star Wars, I have Empire, and then A New Hope, and then Jedi, and then Andor, and then Rogue One, and then Bad Batch. I think is my ranking of Star Wars stuff. So I keep forgetting the Mandalorian because there's I keep forgetting that The Mandalorian is one of the best things ever made, and I just forget about it because it feels like it's been forever since I've seen it.
It has been a little bit.
Throw the Mandalorian in there somewhere around Andor.
Well, we got to get Gina Carano back. Come on, we're all excited to have her back in the series, aren't we, guys?
She's coming back again?
She's coming back?
No, I'm messing around.
Okay, I didn't think she was.
Oh, I was upset. I thought to get upset. I was like, no.
She can keep making bombs with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, I was saying she made her Ben Shapiro movie came out recently, and it absolutely bombed.
It made $800 or some shit.
Oh wow,
yeah. They did pay for craft service.
I forgot about her already.
Yeah,
that's okay though.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's good. I forget. Mandalorian's good too. But anyway,
any last things or any last parts you guys want to mention about Bad Batch before we go on to Shelf Stacker Box where we rate what we thought of the first season?
I can't think of anything at all personally.
Okay. Watch the show and then go play Republic Commando and then go read the books.
Hey, Republic Commando is actually on Switch in a 2-pack. I know because I bought it for my son. Yep, I don't know if he played it, but I bought it for my son. I was like,
yeah, I'm actually just started replaying it a couple of weeks ago. Because I love that game.
Well, read the books too. The books are actually seriously good. And then read some of Karen Travis's other stuff too.
Video games, books. What do you think I am? Made of money? Huh?
There's the internet.
She's got a really cool she does a lot of video game tie-in stuff, but she's got a really cool original sci-fi series she made called City of Pearl that's really well done. It's super inventive, and it deals with the whole idea of making colonies way out in the light years away, but then not having any way to get to them in any kind of reasonable amount of time because through hibernation ship kind of thing. It's interesting. It's good stuff.
Cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So Karen Travis, check her out.
Oh, and since this was your pick, Kerry, why don't you go first? Shelf.
Oh yeah, Shelf for sure. I just rewatched it today, and I told my son I was like, all right, starting season 2 tomorrow. So yeah, I'm excited to start season 2. I'm
glad you guys are. I'm glad you guys are gonna do that.
Definitely on the shelf.
I love what I've seen of season 2 so far. It feels like a logical extension of the first season. I won't say any more because I don't want to put out any spoilers. But if you enjoy the first season, then you're probably most likely going to enjoy what they've got out of the second season.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm I had no interest in it whatsoever, but now I'm completely on board. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to watching.
That's
All
great.
right.
And I'll go next. I'm also going to put this on the shelf. I came into it with like almost no expectations, but it kind of blew me away. It got my interest. It really worked. I mean, the fact that Kerry was talking so highly about it and the fact that I had someone willing to cover something with me, I'm like, okay. And I really had a good time. I thought this was a very entertaining show. It got me back into like the whole Rebels and Clone Wars stuff again and more Star Wars that I neglected and didn't think I was going to go back to. And I'm glad I did. So I'm going to go on the shelf. What about you, Robbie?
Yeah, on the shelf. This is the kind of stuff that has been getting me back into Star Wars the past few years. I'd been pretty burned out with all the prequel stuff because I grew out of that pretty quick, and it just kind of feels like it doesn't feel all together there for me. But now that we're actually dipping into some of the more legends-focused mythology, and we're also focusing more on the people who are left as refugees in the wake of the Empire taking over. It's good. It's good political context for Star Wars while also keeping a human element intact, and it creates a lot of dynamic that leads to good action scenes as well as good characterization. Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of the Bad Batch, and it's part of a larger element of Star Wars that's been branching out the last few years.
All right.
That I just really enjoy. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're good. And Jody.
Yeah, definitely shelf. This show's got me back into a bit of Star Wars. I haven't been watching much of it lately, but definitely I got a set now. I got to watch Rebels, and I'm going to watch Andor, and
Andor is really good. Just do not watch all of it at once. Do not do that.
That is good to know.
I did that one Saturday before we recorded. I watched almost the whole series in one day, and I was very depressed. So
I heard that it could be depressing. I listened to your episode just a couple days ago. So yeah.
Oh, awesome.
No, definitely. This excellent, and going to see what else Star Wars got.
I am serious when I say that you should not watch Visions like one segment after the other in a row, because you'll just grow so frustrated. Yeah.
Visions is the anime one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Different anime styles.
I watched that one like very spread out, and I really enjoyed it. But
so nobody's mentioned Resistance at all. Is it connected to these at all, or
Yes.
is it later? So
it's later because it takes place. It's one of the only stuff we have that takes place before the new trilogy. It was supposed to set up for the new trilogy, but it didn't really work.
Oh, okay.
So
that's on my list too now. I gotta go through that.
Interesting.
I have no interest.
I'm just curious now. After watching this, I'm wondering if it's better than what I've heard.
See,
I haven't actually. I forgot all about it.
I just after Last Jedi, I was like, "Fuck you!" Anything new stuff in that era.
That was a big disappointment. Honestly,
Last Jedi broke me.
I did not like Last Jedi at all.
So that movie really made me sad because I wanted to like it and I did not.
I liked things about it.
I can't say I didn't like anything.
I liked that it was trying to do something new. I just wish it had done something new that was coherent and made sense.
Yeah, and the fact that half the movie didn't have to happen.
Yeah, that too.
That's probably the problem with that movie.
Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah, and also it just introduced a plot hole also that invalidates the entire series. There's that.
Yeah,
like why have a Death Star? What's the point of a Death Star?
When you don't need it,
you could just strap a hyperdrive to an asteroid. So
and
why
just
have
keep
Death
doing
Stars?
it.
Yeah,
it's so much cheaper and easy.
Yep. I have a Death Star. Yeah. Anyway,
it doesn't involve people having to be in prison camps and make one part for your giant monster ship. So hey, that's what you do. All right. And if you want to hear us talk about more Star Wars, I don't feel like reading everything because I have too many. We do a bunch of Star Wars episodes. Just scroll through our catalog. You'll find the movies. We cover the original trilogy. We covered all sorts of stuff, comics, movies, games. We cover all sorts of content. Over 400 episodes. Go check out our giant catalog. And Jody, where can people find you at?
So, Baka Wheel on Twitter. That's me. And I'm also on Twitch and YouTube. You can check me out. I even got a whole bunch of the Old Republic playthrough on YouTube.
Oh, nice. And Kerry, where can people find you at?
Hey, I'm Karuseta, Kerooseta on Twitch, and also getting my YouTube, same name, back up and running. So check me out there. I modify and repair video game consoles occasionally, but more often I just stream whatever I happen to be playing, which is mostly Dark Souls. So.
And Robbie.
Hey there, everybody. Robbie Sherman here, Conversations with Robbie Sherman, big podcast. I do a lot of my advertising on Twitter. I'm also on Discord. We got a lot coming up. I'm doing a subcast on the Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, and we're going to be running the whole series of that. I'm going to be doing a Freakazoid podcast called Freak Out, and I hope everyone's going to join me for that. It's going to be a fantastic time.
Okay. And I've not thought of that show in a very long time.
Yeah,
I don't want to think about that show.
But it's fun in that way. Like, if you like Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, it's that same type of humor.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it. So, all right. Oh, and if you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon. For a little dollar, you can vote in our Patreon poll. You'll see a link in the show notes. Each month we do a different poll. So you can definitely go check that out. Also want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena at HellHatchFreak, and follow her on TikTok and let her know you followed her because of me, and she'll send me a screenshot and make me happy. So go do that. We also have a Discord. You can join our Discord and chat with us. So please do that, and you can talk, kind of see what's going on with the show. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. And want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who went through the MCU movies with me. He made his own podcast, A Gamer Looks at 40. So definitely go check him out. He's on the show quite often. And I think that's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.